Welcome back. In minutes before the Prime Minister lands in Hiroshima, in an interview to Japanese Daily, he has said that the country looks forward to and the Prime Minister looks forward to discussing global challenges and changes in areas such as energy, digital technology, supply chain and much more. That's the message coming in from the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister has also emphasized on India's role as a reliable partner in addressing these challenges. That's what he has said, and he has said that India's experience would resonate strongly at the meeting. That's the word really coming in. And this is the interview before that crucial meeting really happens at that global platform. India is a special invitee this year, and this is an interview of the Prime Minister to the Japanese media. Maria with us on the broadcast. Maria, this interview, what kind of pretext does it really set?
Yes, so the Prime Minister here sending a clear message that his arrival for the Group of Seven meeting in Hiroshima is for amplifying the voices and concerns of Global South. That is how he looks at it, and how G7 will be setting the tone and tenor for India's presidency, which is currently underway of the G20. And India is hosting G20 this year. This is an exclusive interview which the Prime Minister has given to Nikkei Asia, in which he is talking about the global challenges and particularly emphasizing on digital technology and supply chain and how India can be seen as a reliable partner and what are the challenges going ahead. So I think this is setting the tone of what will be his understanding, and it's also about the shared interest and how it is about convergences and the points of friction which are there should be put on the back burner. But as Prime Minister said that he had clearly said that India stands for peace. And he had told Russian President Vladimir Putin that today's era is not an era of war, but India continues to do this business with Russia. India, when the question is asked about can India play the role of mediator, Prime Minister Modi in this interview has said that India's commitment is clear and unwavering as far as its belief in this ongoing conflict is concerned, and how India is firmly on the side of peace. It believes that particularly because of its, the rising cost of food, fuel and fertilizers, these are the challenges that are being seen, and hence it continues to maintain that there is a need for communication between Russia and Ukraine.
There's a need for communication between the two countries. Maria, China has been trying to act as some kind of a diplomat, as a global negotiator, trying to challenge that world order. And in fact, the key two factors, the Chinese and the Russians are two key factors that the European nations or the Western superpowers would want to talk about. How do they really come into picture? And when India asserts its position, what are the issues we take to the table?
Yes, so India has been saying that India is fully prepared and committed to its protecting its sovereignty and dignity when it came to about that standoff with China.
Yeah.
And how New Delhi Prime Minister has said respects sovereignty and rule of law and peaceful resolution of disputes. Let's not forget that when it comes to India-China, India's position is very clear that it is based on mutual respect, mutual sensitivity and mutual interest.
Right.
And that if China unilaterally tries to change status quo, then it is the Chinese side that should be seen as an aggressor and India just a protector of its sovereignty.
India just a protector of its sovereignty. The fact that, this is an important message that India takes to the global stage, and at many points India has emerged as one of the key powers who has refused to align with any side. And more importantly, a meet with Zelensky is on the card, and Prime Minister has spelled out the stand of Ukraine as well, though India continues to be a critical partner with Russia on many counts, and these ties go back much ago in decades. That's a complicated job at hand and a complicated diplomatic stance that India has taken, a very nuanced one, I must say, Maria, when it comes between the need for ensuring peace and stability in the region across the world and India's own domestic concerns, which are important to it.
Yes, that's right. And over the last 1.5 years, ever since the war in Ukraine began, Anusha, India has done this tightrope walk. India has repeatedly sent a message to both Russia and Ukraine that this is not an era of war, that both these countries have to come on the talking table, that this is about dialogue and diplomacy. But I think because the G7 summit is happening in the backdrop of Hiroshima, it is happening in Hiroshima, the only living city as far as the destruction in World War II is concerned, that happened on 6th of August 1945. Because it is happening in Hiroshima, I think there is a greater challenge for India because of the sensitivities which is attached to this particular city. And that is the reason why Prime Minister, in his interview to Nikkei, has clearly specified about and made his, it's an unequivocal explanation of India's position, which has been consistent throughout in the last 1.5 years.
We maintain our communication with both Russia and Ukraine. That's what Prime Minister Modi has said. And this is a position that ever since the non-aligned movement, India has been a champion of, to ensure that when there are, global conflicts in which India does not have an interest, it's not caught in the crossfire, which can be the story of many other nations. It only points out to the well-thought foreign policy, which is being pursued by the government and which is reiterated by the Prime Minister right now. Prime Minister says, and I quote, India stands on the side of peace and we firmly remain there. We are committed to supporting those who face challenges in meeting their basic human needs, especially in the face of rising costs for food, fuel and fertilizers. We maintain communication with both Russia and Ukraine. That is what India has asserted. Maria Shakil tracking all the details from Hiroshima as she gets us a perspective. Maria, what kind of meetings are lined up for the Prime Minister? What does the itinerary look like?
Yes, so shortly he will be arriving in Hiroshima, where he will be welcomed by the Indian diaspora, which certainly is excited to welcome the Prime Minister. Tomorrow is when his day begins, which begins with the unveiling of the Gandhi bust. So, the biggest apostle of peace being unveiled by the face of the Indian democracy in terms of Prime Minister representing the largest democracy in the world, and Gandhi being established in Hiroshima is high on symbolism, and thereafter the Prime Minister's bilaterals will be taking place. But it is on Sunday when the crucial bilateral with, friends in Francis, Emmanuel Macron is scheduled besides Prime Minister Kishida. So, in terms of optics of it, tomorrow's optics certainly becomes important. But then, as I've been saying, that there are certain bilaterals, but also the Quad Summit, which will be happening on the sidelines. The only difference being that it has changed from Canberra, where it was cancelled because of US President Joe Biden saying that he cannot travel to Australia. Now the entire summit will be taking place here in Hiroshima.
Maria